Welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today we are here together on Christmas Eve in general. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Ashley Valentine. I'm going to be putting this scroll bar here. I won't be interrupting the show with super stickers, but I appreciate it so much. So to those of you who are maybe overseas like me, I immigrated from South Africa. So Mr. Grizzly and I, we don't have family here, and he's also live right now. So thank you for being here with me, and I'm so glad to be here with you guys as well. True crime is every day, right? And I'm really thinking of the families of the victims in this Idaho case. I mean, it's absolutely devastating to think. I mean, as Steve, Katie's dad said, they're not even really going to celebrate Christmas because it will be too difficult. So, yes. Thank you for being here. We're going to look at a couple of updates and things like that. Are you in South Africa? Truth and transparency. So we're going to look at a couple of updates together today. I'm going to go over some interesting little timeline details as well. Just trying to make sense of a few things and trying to think outside the box as well, because there's so many variables that we still don't know in these cases. And as we did yesterday, I think it was yesterday's live stream, when we looked at the police saying, there was Aaron Snell, the PIO of the Idaho State Police, saying like social media, I'm just paraphrasing, but it's very important. It's very important as part of this investigation. So yes, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Let me say it in Zulu for you guys. Jabulela uki. Wait. Jabulela ukisimusi. That's in Zulu. To all my Jewish friends, Happy Hanukkah or Chag Sumayach. Thank you for being here. I don't know what other languages you guys speak, but thank you for being here. I wish I could say them all in all the languages. So Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you for spending your time here with me. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Gray. That is so sweet. Oh my goodness. Merry Christmas. Congrats on 100K later today. Boom. Thank you so much, Gray. I really appreciate that. My word. That's the Christmas spirit. Damn. Content creators supporting each other. Thank you, Gray. That took me by surprise. Damn. Okay. So I know that these updates, I've seen them pretty much everywhere, but you're going to see them here today. Okay. Damn. If that's not the Christmas spirit, I don't know what is. Gray Hughes, $100 for Christmas for 100K? Damn. I mean, you're almost there too, right? Let's do it together. Wow. Okay. So what I wanted to look at was this story here where they say the Idaho murders. Everybody can hear each other's footsteps in the creaky house, former resident said. I know that this has raised suspicions on the roommates, but for me, it just hasn't. Because, again, I could say, what if they had AirPods in? What if they had music playing in their rooms? I'm just trying to think of all possibilities, right? Instead of always, as the internet goes, like, oh my word, this is so sinister. They would have heard them, and it could be interesting to explore that. But what if they just were passed out? What if they were drunk? What if there's so many possibilities actually? And even if we were to go a sinister way, what if they were drugged? We don't know. There's so much that we don't actually know, as I say. Okay, so I'm going to have to slow the chat down just a little bit. There's so many people here. I really appreciate it. Catherine, you're excited. Gray in the house. Music City Angel. Gray Hughes investigates is not so mean after all. Oh man, you guys are so sweet. Hey Claire, welcome everyone. Welcome OGs and new Gs and everybody. So I'll play you this clip in a moment. I'll put it forward to where the guy actually talks about it. They say a University of Idaho graduate who previously lived in the off-campus house where 4 students were killed is speaking out to ABC News. It's definitely an old, creaky house, he says, right? Said Cole Altenida, who graduated in 2022 and lived in the house during his junior year. You can't walk up any of the stairs or any of the floors without everybody in the house knowing it. And as I always say, your opinion's welcome. If you feel like, nope, that's totally suspicious, that's up to you. For me, I'm just like, well, half the time, I mean, students don't hear a thing half the time, right? Whether it's music or being tired or being drunk or who knows what they're doing or who they're with, we're yet to see. Thank you so much, Golden Fire, and everybody. Okay, so they say 3 of the current residents, roommates, Kaylee Consalves, Madison Mogan, and Xana Kernodle, as well as Kernodle's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, were all stabbed to death in the house in the early hours of November 13th. This is really one of those cases that you just can't let go of. It is so terrifying. The killer has still not been caught, and I say that very lightly because I know these things take time. It's just very scary to think that they're still out there, and who knows what they're doing for Christmas. If they're do they have family? What are they doing? And these 4 lives were lost. Okay, so no suspects have been identified. 2 other roommates who police said are not suspects survived and likely slept through the murders, according to police. The survivors were on the ground floor, while the 4 victims were on the second and third floor. So I still think the way the house is built, it's possible to not hear much on the bottom floor. But let me know. Okay, I have slowed the chat down. I hope that you guys are coping okay there. Okay, thank you. Alternator said each of the 3 floors has 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. The neighborhood and this house have a very active party life, Alternator said, which is what we said in the beginning, right? Initially, people were like, no, 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 this is not a party house, but it really is. And we can see that from the body cam footage that Truth and Transparency got as well from the Moscow Police Department. Yeah, it definitely was a party house. Lots and lots of people there. Charisma, you say Merry Christmas and justice for all who need it. And also, thank you to everyone who just needs some company and is spending it here with us. Really appreciate it. A lot of students are familiar with the inside of the home, he said. At parties, people would hop the fence and just walk away if the cops came, he added. Moscow police say the murder investigation will continue over the university's winter break. I think everybody expected an arrest by now, Altanita said. Police said they've received more than 11,900 tips and over 4,500 digital media submissions. Now, remember that the 2 unharmed roommates are included in the list of who they do not suspect to be involved in the crime. So just keep that in mind as well. Just remind yourself who they put on that list as well. Thank you so much. I hope you guys can see my scroll bar. If you think, why am I not reading it out? I really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. So thank you so, so much. I just find people shout at me more for, shouting them out than anything else. So thank you. JB Gunner says, clearly a party house, but I can't fathom this killing not being extremely loud. It had to be loud unless he was a stealth professional. Yes, and imagine if he was, how scary that is. I just wonder, I wonder, why could it not be possible that the downstairs roommates were listening to music or drunk and passed out or something like that? You don't hear much if you're completely out of it, right? Let me know what you think. Okay. So let's watch this video quickly here.
Were able to access the property. And as the mystery grows over how the killer was able to get away unnoticed, a former student who graduated in 2022 and lived at the same house during his junior year talks about his experience there.
It's definitely an old creaky house. You can't walk up any of the stairs or on any of the floors without everybody in the house knowing it.
Cole Alternator says the building doesn't offer much privacy and was well known to students.
A lot of students are very familiar with the inside of the home around the community. There have been thousands of people that have likely been through it throughout the years. Even when we had it, there were people that would come and knock on the door or walk in thinking that it was somebody else's house.
Now, as the school closes for winter break, the house and campus quiet, but police say their search for the killer will not slow down.
We're going to continue to push through the holidays. We have a team that will continue to do the investigation and work on that as we move through the holidays.
As the investigation continues and still no suspects named, police are apparently looking for a white car seen near the house the night of the killings. At the very
Did you guys see that Jason Jensen, the private investigator that we all know from the Moab murders? If you've never heard of that case, please check out my playlist. It occurred around the time of Gabby Petito's murder as well, and he was the private investigator, right, helping out the family. By the way, they say that case will be closed very soon. That Pinkowitz guy that they had, he unalived himself, but that guy, they believe it's him that killed him. So I don't know if you know that, but apparently Jason Jensen has offered a reward to anyone who can come forward with information about this white Elantra. So that's really the first time we see a reward being offered. I found that pretty cool. Very interesting as well. Yes, that's the thing. Richard says AirPods. You just don't know. You just don't know. Yes. Okay. So, and you can see guys lived there, girls lived there previously. That guy lived in the house in the beginning sometime of 2022. And that's the interesting thing. I'm dying to see what Truth and Transparency is going to present tomorrow, based on when everyone moved into the house. Very excited for that information. But since they said, social media could be pretty important, of course, in this case, as we would imagine in 2022, what connections were made there? Was there an online stalker there? Was there, some kind of predator there or whatever? We just don't know. Or like an old lover or something. We don't know. But, I've been deep diving for the last 24 hours on all the social media profiles that I could find. Just to see if there's anything I could find that could add to the timeline. And I've made a little mini presentation, just of things I found that I didn't know before. Fröhliche Weihnachten und Liebe für alle. Thank you so much. I hope I said that okay in German. Yes, a sound machine. T-Boss says, I use a sound machine and I can't hear anything, especially if I have a few drinks. I mean, for me personally, I put on rain sounds, at night. It's an app called Rain Sounds. And that white noise just really helps drown out all kinds of other background noise. So there's that as well. Okay, then the other thing we have to talk about is this over here. I also do have to show you a lovely Christmas card that one of our Grizzlies made for all of us. So I will show you. Yes, Venlachim. There you go. Lurker friends, don't forget to lurk scribe. I like that lurk scribe in the French accent, huh? Okay, so they say Cabby, who drove. Oh, this is the New York Post. I was going to say, this is a Daily Mail. It sounds very British. A cabbie who drove slain Idaho students home said they were excited to go home and eat pasta. And as we saw on the food truck video, Kaylee had ordered carbonara. Remember? The carbonara is what she ordered, and they were excited to go home and eat pasta, is what he says. So a taxi driver who took University of Idaho students, Kaylee Consalvis and Madison Mogan, home on the night of the Grizzly. You see that? I'm Grizzly to crime like the bear, okay? There they say Grizzly murder. So if you hear Grizzly murder, no, that's not me. I'm the bear. So took them home on the night of the Grizzly murders, said the girls were super excited about going home to chow down on mac and cheese, as he opened up about how the unsolved slayings have weighed on him. So remember when Kaylee's sister said they called for an Uber at around 1:46. The car arrived at 1:49, got in the car and got home at around 1:56. That wasn't an Uber driver. Later, Steve Consalves said that was a designated driver from the sorority. I don't know which sorority, if it would be Kaylee's former, Kaylee's sorority, the Alpha Phi one, or if it was Maddie's one, but it was a designated sorority driver, and they call it private driver according to the police. And so he says, this has weighed on him greatly, and he's obviously coming forward anonymously because you know how the internet goes. You know how it goes. Oh my goodness. I was on Facebook today looking at all those groups that I'm part of, and I'm just like, damn, speculation running wild in some places, huh? So he is also on the list of people that they do not believe committed the crime. Yeah, exactly. Fauna Grizzly is not Grizzly. Lol, that's what I thought when I subscribed way back when. Some people are like, oh my word, she's got gore in her name. No, like pick up a dictionary. Nope. Grizzly like the bear. Mary Ann asks, why are they looking for this white car? How did this come about? They're not going to tell us everything. Everything's being kept very close to the vest, but they have told us that car was in the immediate vicinity at the time. Around the time that the murders took place. So they say they believe the occupant or occupants have critical information in this investigation. KDK, thank you so much, and happy 1 year Grizzly anniversary to you. KDK has been a member for 1 year today, you guys. And thank you to everyone else who's also been a member, whether it's for a day, a month, a year. I've only been on YouTube for 18 months now. So someone said the other day, I've been watching you for years. I'm like, I started at the end of June 2021. Okay. So here they say, speaking to the Daily Mail this week on condition of anonymity. Oh man, that word. Anonymity. There you go. I always want to add a minute. The cabbie said he was likely one of the last people to see Consalves and Mogan, both 21, alive before they were murdered along with their roommate, Xana Kernodle, and her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, both 20, November 13th. It's weighed on me, the driver told the news site. I've replayed that night 1,000,000 times over, trying to think if there was some sign or some detail that something was amiss, but there was nothing. And that is the scariest part, that really it was an ordinary night, going out to the corner club, getting some food afterwards at the food truck. I believe that last call at the bar, because the bar closed around 2 a.m. And normally they would have last call at 1:45 a.m., I believe. So yes, they would have started heading out. They actually left before probably the flood of people left, maybe to get a head start going to that grab truck. As we saw later, a lot of people arrived, and they probably also came from the corner club. So they started walking around 1:30-ish or so. Thank you, everyone. Okay. And so they say, I've replayed that night 1,000,000 times over, and I can imagine, because even all of us just following the case are replaying everything we know, in our minds. So he was the driver driving them to 1122 King Road. And that was the last time they were seen alive, besides on the Ring camera from the neighbor, where Olivia, Kaylee's sister, said she saw them take out the dog, which is Murphy, for potty, and then lock the door, go back in. And Kaylee's family also said that Kaylee was known to lock her car and lock the home. She was very safety conscious, and they described her as a web sleuth. They said she was a web sleuth, literally. Okay, so it's not lost on me that my job was to get these girls home safe, but that didn't really help this time. Well, he did his job. It did help. He did take them home safely. And they got home around 1:56 a.m. And at 2:52 a.m., they were busy. That was the last time that Jack was called and a text was sent. So I hope he doesn't, feel guilty in any way, because there's no reason for him or her to feel guilty, right? I think they say him. So, yes. I agree. Restrict says this case is beyond everything. Still can't believe it. Within the true crime world, it's just wow. Can't wait for answers. If you guys saw my episode yesterday talking about the Villisca axe murders, I find the case very interesting, and I was drawing a couple of comparisons there. But Detective Ken Maines from Unsolved No More is his channel's name. He also did an episode about a month ago, and it's really, really good if you do want to check it out, if you are interested in that case that I covered yesterday. Okay, so they say nearly 6 weeks after 4 students were found stabbed to death inside the rental home that they shared on King Road in Moscow, Idaho, police have yet to identify a suspect in the brutal slayings that rocked the college town. The Moscow Police Department has been facing growing pressure to make an arrest against the backdrop of intensifying public scrutiny and criticism for the victims' families, who've accused authorities of failing to share information with them. Just remember, today we must also think of the Moscow Police Department, the FBI, and everyone, the Idaho State Police, and everyone that's helping in this investigation, because they said they're going to be working over the holidays, and you can guarantee that there are some of them that are going to be working today. That is for sure. Yes. Oh, man. So sad. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed during the stream. My goodness. We're getting to 100K, you guys. That's exciting and overwhelming. Thank you so much for being here. If you're brand new here on the channel, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you will like my presentations and things, bringing you the news on Christmas Eve. Here we are together. Okay, so they say police investigators and amateur online sleuths have endlessly pored over the doomed students' final movements before the killings, with a surveillance video showing them waiting at a food truck presenting a particular point of interest. So, as Aaron Snell, the PIO of the Idaho State Police, said, they literally have done 250 interviews, and they are looking at interviewing everyone that was around the victims that night, and that would be all 4. We've just seen the video from the food truck, of course, and that little surveillance snippet before. But of course, we don't know where Xana and Ethan were that night, what their movements were, if there's any footage that will come from that. I'm sure if so, that law enforcement would have it, right? Exactly, Caroline. Okay, they had their food, and they were super excited about their mac and cheese, as girls are, after they go to the club. Yes, as you guys know, if you're going out, they were 21 years old, right? If we look at Kaylee and Maddie, 21. They went out to the club. They had some drinks. If you watch their feeds in the video, this is by no means any victim shaming. This is normal. Okay. But they were like kind of swaying around a bit. So if you're not sure if they were drunk or not, why do people say they're drunk? If you just watch their feet, you can definitely see it. I mean, Maddie was struggling a little bit to stand up like straight. But of course, there's nothing more comforting than nice, warm comfort food. And mac and cheese, carbonara, damn, that would have been really nice, you know? Okay. So they're showing us some more pictures. It's amazing how the crime scene has changed so much, so quickly, right? With all the snow and everything. It wasn't like that when the crime happened. And now it's just kind of like frozen in time, just about, you know, it's just so sad to see. And of course, there's still patrol cars there and everything monitoring the house. I mean, just for safety in general, for safety of the crime scene in general. And I guess if the killer were to return, then that's being monitored too, right? Sometimes they do that, as we know. Yes, and thank you, Tracy. Welcome to all new subscribers. Right. Thank you, Bev. I really appreciate it. And to all of you that are emailing me about the case and everything you find, I really, really appreciate it. I really do suck at replying, but I see all of them. I read every single email I get. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. With so many cars parked outside, says JK, the killer had to know who the cars belonged to, the people inside the house, and the layout of the house. Yeah, I do think that they would have been familiar with the layout of the house. Even if they just watched it for some time, they could also see the layout of the house on Zillow and multiple sites. They could study the layout of the house online, and they could also just download Snapchat and add these victims, or maybe if they had their location public, they could see exactly where they were location-wise, who was in the house and when and all that, right? Yes, Richard, I agree. It's so heartbreaking, especially with the holidays. Okay, so they were just normal, just like any other night. They weren't upset about anything or talking about anyone. There was no nervousness about them. They weren't afraid of anybody. There was nobody following them or following us. I wonder if that conversation about what did you tell Adam? I told Adam everything. I wonder if they talked about anything like that at all, or you know, were they really just excited for the mac and cheese? Thank you, Georgia Peach. Okay, so they say the driver recalled that he let Gonsalves and Morgan out of the car on the street outside their home rather than in the driveway, and left without waiting for them to enter the residence. But I mean, even if he had waited for them to enter the residence, they would have popped out moments later and taken Murphy out to go potty, as Olivia said. The unnamed driver said when he learned the identities of the butchered college students, he went straight to the police and handed over his digital data and a time-stamped receipt from the Taco Bell where he headed after dropping the students off at home. So he had a very strong alibi, and one might think, why is he doing that? Because he's like the last person to see them alive. And you know how that goes in true crime, right? Reflecting on the multi-agency investigation, which so far has very little to show for it, the driver said that many people in the Moscow community have lost faith in the police and feel like they are not doing enough to catch the killer. Those kids deserve justice and they're not getting it, he said. Local cops who are being assisted by dozens of FBI agents and Idaho state troopers said they are working through nearly 12,000 tips and are also still looking for the white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra that was seen near the crime scene. And thank you so much, Sarah K. You deserve 100K followers for the holidays. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys all being here with me. This one I found interesting as well. They say local resident creates T-shirts to honor Idaho murder victims, and proceeds are going to the families. I thought that was very sweet. A local resident is selling T-shirts to raise money for the families of 4 University of Idaho students who were killed last month. Let's do it like this. Lewiston resident Sher Makoma said her sister reached out with the idea of creating a shirt because her daughter is a junior at the University of Idaho. Macoma's niece was good friends with victims Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin, making this project personal for her. Okay, so now let's add my little presentation here. And the reason I'm right now just zoning in a little bit on Kaylee is because I find that the most changes happened in Kaylee's life. Kaylee was graduating. She did an internship at a tech company. So she was studying to be an elementary school teacher. But then big career change, right? Going to work at a tech company in Texas, selling her car, getting a new car for her. It wasn't a brand new car. It was a 2016 Range Rover. But she was so excited about that car. So she got she was going to move away. She got a new car. She, all of that, all the things I'll discuss it here. But my point is just, wow, there were a lot of changes. And as I said, John Kelly was supposed to be on our show yesterday, but then because of the cyclone, his power went out. So he will be back with us. Don't worry. But him and I were discussing behind the scenes, some of his thoughts, and he was saying, you have to look at changes in the system, like in the weeks, months, or days leading up to the murders. You have to consider those. So what are the changes in the system? Well, one of the changes would be Kaylee sleeping in Maddie's room because her bed was still there as well. So that's a change. Murphy being there at the house rather than at Jack's house, that's a change. The new job that she was getting, big career change. The new car, that's a change. So if you look at all these changes, right, and I'm sure all 4 victims, you can look at all 4 of them and there would be some changes, but I just find Kaylee's changes were the most. And so I just want to look at that timeline wise, right? Just to think of, who could have been watching this and felt angry about it or whatever it could be. All right. Angela says, JD didn't want to lose all that after being with her since she was 16. Remember also, Jack D, you guys, is not 26. I think, well, one of the media outlets reported he was, but he's not 26. I believe he's 22. Just saying. Okay, so Kaylee Consalves. Kaylee was born in Concord, California on June 8th, 2001. She moved to North Idaho when she was 1 year old. She loved to travel and visited many places with her family and friends. Now, I do not see any of those travels happening with the boyfriend that she had for allegedly 5 years, right? She liked to travel with her family and female friends from everything I can see. She went to prom with Jack D in May of 2019. So these are just little bits that I found that maybe you didn't know before. Maybe it's a good reminder just to consider the lead up of everything. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. I'm just thinking of all possibilities, right? She graduated from Lake City High School, class of 2019, and then went to the University of Idaho, bidding to join the Alpha Phi sorority, likely continuing the family legacy. I say family legacy because someone in her comment section actually said, I'm so glad that you're considering. Oh no, I'm so glad that you're continuing the family legacy. That's what they said. Yes. Sorry, I'm seeing what you guys are saying. Veronica says, thank you, new subscriber. Love your channel. Welcome to all new subscribers. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was I actually went to the Idaho Alpha Phi page on Instagram. And I don't know if you've seen these pictures before. I mean, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I found it interesting just to see. Okay, so in August of 2019, Kaylee was so excited it was after graduating, right? May 2019 was the prom. And then by August, she had gone to the University of Idaho and pledged Alpha Phi. Okay. And so you can see her here, right here, August 22nd, 2019. They say 2 days ago, we got to run home with our amazing new member class. Welcome home, MC19. So you could see it there. And she was so excited. Because all we know is, of course, she grew up with Maddie. They were best friends. But the thing is, Maddie was at a different sorority. And it seems to be that Maddie had moved into 1122 King Road at an earlier stage. Kaylee seems to be the newest roommate in the house from everything I can find. And speculatively, Kaylee, Dylan, and Bethany would be the most recent ones. Maybe Xana as well. It seems like Maddie was there before. So I'm just like, I would love to know exactly who moved in when and where, and, just to understand that timeline. But yes, Kaylee was very excited there as well. And if we just go up a little bit, you could see they're here as well. Is it here? No, that was recruitment officially starting today. There's a whole bunch of pictures on the site, so I can link that for you after. But if we just go to the top, they did pay tribute to Kaylee and said, on November 13th, our lives were changed. Kaylee Consalves, as described by her sisters in Alpha Phi, was the most devoted, spontaneous, adventurous, and considerate sister. She was also a fun-loving prankster who never left us without a smile, which is also what her parents said. She loved to pull pranks on people. Her little Jaden describes Kaylee as Kaylee was someone who was kind to everyone. She never failed to put a smile on any one of our faces. She loved silly pranks, being around her friends and family, her dog Murphy, and traveling. She was always looking for an adventure, whether that was spontaneously booking a trip across the world or a quick road trip. Kaylee was the best big sister I could have asked for. She made me feel welcome and loved when I first joined Alpha Phi and was the reason that I did. She had a contagious laugh. I could always go to her with anything I was struggling with. She made everyone feel included. She was determined like no other. She set her mind to something and had to have or do it. She was loyal and never talked negatively about anyone. To live like Kaylee would be the biggest accomplishment, and she was the most determined and kind person I knew. She still is all these things. Man, this is so sad, right? She still is all these things and more, though, although she may not physically be here. We know that she's watching over all of us, and we will miss her and cherish our memories with her every day. We will continue fighting for justice for these 4 innocent angels, as we know that is what Kaylee would do. She was a fighter. As your sisters, we look forward to seeing your smiling face again someday, Kaylee girl. The links to Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan's GoFundMe are listed within our link tree that can be found in our bio. So if you didn't know, all 4 victims' families have GoFundMe set up for them. I can actually show you quickly. It would be here. Yes, we want to follow the link. So if we just open that one. Oh, no. Wait. Yes. Don't want to open this. Okay. So you could just see them all here, and I'll make sure to link this for you if you wanted to go and find it as well. Okay, so here you could see Madison and Kaylee's GoFundMe. God just received more angels in Maddie, May, and Kaylee. Fly high and be free, you beautiful souls. Our hearts are so broken with the tragedy and loss of the U of I students. These amazing girls were so kind, so sweet, so loving to all. Donations will go to Maddie and Kaylee's families. So all those rumors that are going around of them bullying people, that's pure rumor, and I find it's victim blaming. Of course it is, especially, wow, some of the tone I've seen is ridiculous. So let's not do that. So if you go here, yep, you can see Ethan Chapin's Memorial Fund as well. And Xana Kernodle's one is here. Man, it's just so sad. And there's also a scholarship in Xana's name, which we'll get to later. Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana. So I'll make sure to link this for you in case you have not seen it before. Let's pin it so that we have it. Okay. So back to the presentation. Okay, so as we know that Kaylee, I just want to show you that she was bidding to join the Alpha Phi sorority and likely continuing the family legacy, and she was studying to become an elementary school teacher. While social media will never give us the full picture of anyone's life, it does seem to me, from what I can see, that Kaylee and her boyfriend may have actually broken up in 2020 already. Now, I say there's speculation. That's big speculation, but just look for yourself. Go and deep dive for yourself. I'm like, damn, there's no posts of him anymore after 2020, neither on Facebook, on her Facebook, or on Instagram. He hasn't commented since what I could see, September 2020. So, Kaylee's mom said that they had recently broken up. But recent is, of course, relative. The way that she said it sounds more like recently, like in the last few weeks or whatever. But yet, it seems to me that when Kaylee went to university and joined the sorority, that was her whole world, her whole life. I don't think Jack was a big focus then. I can't say that for sure. It's just from what I see of studying all the social media, right? They were childhood friends. Jack says they dated for 5 years. So would that be 2017 to 2021? Or would it be 2018 to 2022? Are we talking 2016 to 2020? I don't know. The first time he ever commented on one of her posts, from what I can see on Instagram, was in March of 2017. That's why I say 2017. The last comment that he seems to make is March of 2020, which is also the last time that she makes a post with him on Facebook. And then, as we know, if you watched Crime Circus's video on Jack D, he was deep diving the comments that Jack had left. And It is a little odd. I was initially screenshotting and making a presentation, but there's no real reason to do that because you can go look for yourself on Instagram as well. That posts that he was making, comments in September of 2020, were on posts that were already posted 2 years before. So that was interesting. But no, there's nothing much since 2020. So I just feel like they could have, because the whole thing, the reason people, and they may have broken up recently, but the reason people really like to look at Jack, even though law enforcement has said we do not believe that that male is involved in the crime, people still look at him because I do understand that the motive would then be the most plausible, right? I get it. But the thing is, it's also based on, oh, they recently broke up. He must be so pissed off. And then she's leaving as well. And yes, she was taking the dog too. So that is all very hurtful for him. But I just wonder, it seems to me like he was in the friend zone before. They dated for a little bit. And then he was in the friend zone after. It's like Friends. Ross and Rachel. That's what it seems like to me. If you watched the Friends series, you know what I'm talking about. But yes, then he was called 10 times. Yeah, that as well. So yeah, I'm just showing the picture that it seems like for a time her world was Jack. And then when she joined the sorority, that was a whole world. Those were best friends. She wasn't always with Maddie. She had lots of friends there, and they all speak so highly of her as well. In August of 2019, Kaylee had her last day at the Dutch Bros Coffee Company where she worked. Shout out to the Dutch Bros. Damn, okay. They literally have the windmill and everything. Like, as you guys know, I'm in the Netherlands. So I was like, the Dutch Bros Coffee. So she had worked there because we don't know much about where Kaylee worked. Or Xana, really. We know Xana previously at the Texas ranch, I believe. I'm not sure during the time of living at the home. And the reason I say that, sorry. Mad Greek. Xana and Maddie worked at the Mad Greek restaurant. Ethan apparently worked at like a nursery. I know he worked with those with tulips and at a tulip farm or something as well, but that was previously. So we knew about that, but I have never heard, like, where did Kaylee work? Initially, it was reported that she also worked at the Mad Greek restaurant, but then later it was cleared up. Actually, it was Xana and Maddie that worked at the Mad Greek restaurant. And the reason I say that is also because there's very many variables to consider there. How many people did they interact with at the Mad Greek restaurant, for example? And what if there was a regular customer who made people uncomfortable? You just don't know. There could be so many variables. And Maddie and Xana working at the Mad Greek is 2 out of the 4 victims. And Ethan was a boyfriend, of Xana. So you see what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. So August 20th, 2019, Kaylee joined the Alpha Phi sorority house, and she called it her home. In 2020, she was actually on the Alpha Phi executive board, which she was very proud of. In July 2020, it appears that Kaylee worked at Jitters. See, another job we didn't know about. That was July 2020, Jitters, an espresso bar, and I think it's for the summer, because it seems to be in Coeur d'Alene, which is... isn't that where Jack is from? But she seems like she spent her summers a lot. Maybe her family's also there in Coeur d'Alene. So I think she just worked there for the summer. And then in March 2021, Kaylee went to Cabo, Mexico with her friends. And remember those posts that Jack made in September of 2020? She was like, Miami is amazing. And then, Cabo, Mexico, and just all these travels. And on one of them in September 2020, he said, travel with me with a heart. There was a lot of like longing for her in these posts. And it could be nothing. But it's just, it just seemed like he was like, travel with me. Or if I was there, I wouldn't take my eyes off you. Or, all these kinds of comments. No, Sarah, he's not 26. That's bad information. Jack is not 26. There was a false report by a main media outlet, and now everyone's run with it. If you do the background checks, he's not 26. So, from what I know. I'm only saying it like that, not at you. I'm just saying like, damn, the emails I get about that. He's 26 and he's, I don't know, people accusing him of all sorts, dating her when she's so much younger. But no. They were there at school together. And so in March of 2021, yes, Kaylee went to Cabo, Mexico with her friends and posted all about it. No, Jack wasn't there. In December of 2021, Kaylee and Jack got Murphy. So see, I find that interesting. Because to me, it seems like since September of 2020, he was in the friend zone. And then they got Murphy. So maybe they're just friends. And then he's like, let's share a dog. Maybe we can get one together, take turns to look after the dog. And Katie's mom said they spoke every day while she was at home the week before she went back to 1122 King Road, back to Moscow, Idaho, to go to a party with Maddie, to show off her car and all of that. So she started an internship at this company called Extreme. It's a tech company in June 2022. And it seems like they mostly have tech jobs and marketing jobs. So yeah, it's definitely not elementary school teacher, but something else in the tech industry. And they said the company actually put out a statement, which we've read before, of just how ambitious she was, how much she wanted to learn, and how well she did. So they offered her a full-time contract. Then in October, okay, that was in June of 2022, and it was supposedly a 3-month internship, and then they offered her a permanent job. Okay, thank you so much for this. Merry Christmas from Houston, Texas. I'm hopping on the Gray Hughes $100 for 100K subs. Damn, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, you guys are spoiling me. So she started an internship at Extreme, right? This was in June 2022. So June, July, August, that would be the internship. And it could have been a paid internship for all we know. But then they offered her a permanent job, which was meant to start in February 2023. So in October, to prepare for all this, so June, July, August, right? So September and then October already, she put her car up for sale. And then she posted an ad looking for a roommate in Texas, because I think it was yesterday in the stream, or one of the videos I recently made, where I was saying, well, all the things we don't know. And we just don't know who she was going to live with in Texas. Did she ever know it? Did she know anyone there? Was she nervous? Also, who did she sell her car to? Because there have been horror stories in the past with who one sells their car to. a car buyer, especially if you're like, yeah, you can just DM me. I'll give you my number and, we can connect on, let's say, an app or Snapchat or whatever. And sure, she wanted to sell her car. So I'm just saying there's more variables to consider. She said, selling my 2011 Subaru Legacy 3.6R limited sedan. It needs new tires and there's a tear in the driver's seat. Those are the only issues. This has been a great car for me and has no mechanical issues whatsoever. I'm moving across the country at the beginning of December. So so looking to sell my car. Private message if interested. Clean title in hand. You see? So no, she didn't trade in her car. She was selling her car online. And even that, we've just heard horror stories before of who buys a car or where she bought her car, all of that. So then on Austin Roommates on Facebook, she had posted this was on October 11th, looking for a roommate to move in with me from February to June. And she was supposed to start the job in Feb. So Feb, March, April, May, June. So about a 6-month lease or so. I don't know why it would be so short. But looking for a roommate to move in with me from Feb to June. I'm coming from Idaho, so I'm not familiar with the area, so open to living anywhere in the Austin area. I'm a 21-year-old girl with a really sweet 20-pound dog. If anyone's looking for a place from Feb to June in Austin, let me know. So, yes, one has to be very careful, online. And by no means, again, don't put words in my mouth. I'm not victim blaming. I'm just offering safety advice. Just be careful. If anyone is obviously she would have to interview who she's living with or connect with people, but that would be a lot of connections made in the time of selling her car and looking for a roommate and all of that. Lots of online activity and connections and people, that may be watching that she doesn't know who is watching. Right? Okay. Thank you all for being here. I hope that if you missed the beginning of the episode, that you will check out the replay. I will cut out the first bit eventually. Okay, thank you, everyone. I see you're very excited. Yeah, we're at 99.8 now. Thanks for being here. So yes, this is a picture of her car, I believe, that she had posted. And then we know she got the 2016 Range Rover. So Kaylee seems to have been one of the most recent roommates in the house at 1122 King Road. And yesterday, I was watching the body cam footage that Truth and Transparency had released. I also watched Plunder's body cam footage. That was quite interesting too. But that one, right, the Truth and Transparency body cam footage that I was looking at was of Kaylee I think she just arrived at the house. Like, she just moved in. It was August 16th, I think it was. Let me just check. Yeah, or August 16th at 5:30. And remember, she's actually, well, I'll show you, but she's wearing the same outfit as she posted on August, the same day, saying, meet the roommates. I don't know if it was her or Maddie that posted. I think Maddie posted it. But like, meet the roommates. So that was when finally the 5 of them were like, okay, we're the official new roommates of this house. Right? So she could have moved in quite recently, which I'm also trying to understand. And that's what I mean. We don't know a lot of details. But if Kaylee had an internship in June, July, August, right? And in August, they start recruiting new people for the sorority. So it makes sense to me that, yes, mid-August, then she would have to move out because new girls are coming to the sorority. So the seniors probably do move out for a bit or go home waiting for the graduation ceremony. That makes sense. And I'm just saying, I wonder why she moved into that house rather than, go home, because it'll be for such a short time, unless she thought, okay, I'm going to stay there from mid-August, September, October, November, December. That would be 4 months. It's quite a lot of time to stay in the house before going backpacking in Europe. And that would include January then, if you think about it. If she left all her stuff there and thought, I just want a place to leave my stuff while I go backpacking in Europe the whole of January, then I'm going to move all my stuff to Texas. That makes sense too. So I think that's what happened, because the sorority recruits in August from everything I've seen. All right, thumbs up. So as we know, after graduating, she was going backpacking across Europe in January 2023. And in Feb, she was set to start a new job in Texas and excitedly already bought the 2016 Range Rover. And she was going to take Murphy along with her. That would be painful for Jack, of course. They co-own the dog. So yes, whether he's in the friend zone or not, they had recently broken up. And then he was also going to lose the dog for a bit. That's hard, I'm just acknowledging the pain, not throwing a red flag. Okay. Kaylee's mom said that her and Jack spoke every day throughout the week when Kaylee was at home. They were planning to get back together. On November 13th, 2022, Jack was the one who Kaylee called 6 times between 2:26 a.m. and 2:44 a.m. As we know, Jack's friends with Adam. Well, from what we know on the internet, right? Jack is allegedly friends with Adam. And why do we say Adam? Because on that surveillance footage, Kaylee said, Maddie, what did you say to Adam? And that's actually after Jack S. had mumbled something. I've seen a lot of options. You guys are all emailing me what you think you hear, but it's all different. If there was a consensus, I'd be more confident about it. But I'm like, damn, everybody's hearing different things. But Jack S., who's walking with them from the corner club to the food truck, says something. And then it triggers kind of Kaylee say, hey, Maddie, what did you say to Adam? And she says, oh, I told Adam everything. We don't know what the everything is, but apparently he is connected to or knows Jack. So I don't know if maybe Jack didn't know at the time that Kaylee was moving and planned to take the dog with or whatever. We just don't know that. But yes, for some reason, she called Jack. Maybe that was, when you have that one person you're going to call if you're in trouble. Maybe Jack was that person, right? To be like, oh my gosh, okay, we gotta call Jack now. And Kaylee's mom said that Kaylee had texted to say, please come over. So the mom, we'll listen to that little clip. They were planning to get back together on November 13th. Kaylee called 6 times between 2:26 and 2:44. And then Maddie's phone called Jack 3 times. And then Kaylee called Jack one more time at 2:52 a.m. and then sent a text to say, come on, we have a dog together. Please get back to me. And then Kaylee's mom added, please come over. So it could just be, for all we know, it could be a booty call. I'm just saying, it could be anything. It could be come over or just like come hang out with us, or it could be because they're scared. It could be because they thought maybe if they heard something outside that maybe he's pranking them because Kaylee was a prankster. Maybe so was Jack. We don't know. Maybe they were just checking like what's going on, or worried that Adam said something and then he's going to be upset. It could really not be connected at all. That we don't know either. I will play that little portion. I just quickly want to see what else I've got on my slide here. Oh, just that it was Maddie and Xana that worked at the Mad Greek restaurant. Ethan apparently worked at a nursery. And Xana, I wasn't sure if she was working part-time while studying at the time when they were all living at the house. All right. So what I'm going to do now is show you this. Just this little portion here to remind you.
We want to do everything that we can do in our power to get justice for your daughter. We keep hearing this name, Jack, and phone calls going back and forth. Can you tell us anything about that?
We love Jack. Absolutely love Jack. We stand behind Jack 1,000%. Jack was Kaylee's boyfriend for many years. They just recently broke up. There was no animosity at all. It was a breakup on Kaylee's point. It was not, they still talked every single day. Kaylee just thought that she needed a little break. They were on the mend of getting back together. Kaylee talked to Jack the whole time she was here for that week and a half.
One of her messages, one of her last messages, she reached out to Jack and said, Jack, get back to me. And he didn't. She goes, we share a dog together, which they did. She's like, you need to reach out to me. So
please come over. She was wanting Jack to come over. Jack is not. They're wasting their time with Jack, and Jack is just as distraught as we are. Jack is our family. Jack is 100%, 2,000% our family, and Jack is with us, and we stand behind him 100%. We're supporting him, and we know in our hearts and our minds and our souls, in the depths of our souls, Jack is hurting, and he in Kaylee and Jack would have eventually been married. They would have eventually been married, and they would have eventually had children together. So to say ex-boyfriend, it was Kaylee just being a brat, being like, I just need a break. But Jack was in her heart, and they were close to getting back together, and that was just Kaylee being Kaylee. So absolutely, Jack is no.
we don't think he's a suspect
at all.
Wow, man.
So, yeah, the reason I just play that is because that sounds like they recently broke up and they were on the mend and going to get back together and want to get married and all that, But the thing is, from social media, as much as social media doesn't tell us the true picture, right? It's just social media. But I can't see Jack making any. She also never replied to him on any of the comments he made, even in 2020. So I just can't tell really how long ago did they really break up, because I think it's a little bit longer than what we think, what we initially think. Okay, so one of the chatters that I missed says, Matthew says, what do you think about the murderer being involved in law enforcement like the original Night Stalker? I mean, very interesting thought. It's always a possibility as well. Can you imagine that? Oh my gosh. Wow. So that is that. And Gray says, to me, that seems like Kaylee thought Jack was upset about something and had to pull the dog card. Right? It does seem like that. That it's almost like, I don't know, it feels a little bit, it might not be linked at all, but the fact that someone was saying, who's Adam? So in the surveillance footage we saw, you guys remember it, right? Maddie, what did you say to Adam? He's like, oh, I told Adam everything. So Adam was the barman at the corner club, a bartender, and apparently, allegedly, the roommate of Jack, Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. A lot of Jacks in this case. I even found 2 more Jacks on social media. I'm like, oh, there's so many Jacks. Wow. Connected to everyone. That's what I mean. So that is interesting to consider. It feels like it could, like the timeline, it's not very far apart. It's within hours of them saying that on surveillance and the murder's taking place. And in between, there's this call, as Katie's sister said, power calling. She was a power caller. She would call multiple times in the middle of the night just to ask a silly question. That's what Katie's sister said. Like, what should I eat? Or what should I do? So she was a power caller. They don't find it strange at all. However, given the context, of everything, I wonder if it was like, oh no, he's going to be so upset with me. Like, for example, this is again speculation, but for example, oh no, I didn't tell him I'm going to Texas. I didn't tell him about any of this or the plans to take Murphy along or any of that. Something like that. Maybe she was anticipating he's going to be so mad at me and trying to call, but we just don't know what it was all about. Yeah, the dog, Murphy, they got the dog together in December of 2021. Yes, but that could be friends, right? They could just be friends. Like he could be in the friend zone and they could still have got the dog together. Getting the dog together might be his attempt at getting nasty, getting her back or something. Could be. Or maybe they really were not broken up yet. Yes. So that is what we have there. And then I wanted to show you this. I don't know if Truth and Transparency. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but Truth and Transparency is the channel to check out for the body cam footage. This is what she dug up, Lana, from the 16th of August, 2022 at 5:30. And it was just so interesting to see. And the noise complaints, and it's the house. The first noise complaint came from the house right there where Jack lives. I'm not sure if it's the house where Jack lived or the one right next to it, but because there were so many people there, it was actually kind of all spread out, like which house was the noise exactly coming from, and this house as well. So just check this out in case I don't know if you've seen this yet.
Yeah.
We already warned them too, so.
And if I do have to come back here, $300 tickets can be
Okay.
and it only gets more expensive. So fair.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, what's the phone number for you?
208-640.
Again, this is Kaylee, and this is one of the guys that answered the door on September 1st.
Go and check this whole video out on Truth and Transparency. This is Kaylee right here. And in that picture that I think Maddie posted saying, meet the new roommates, meet the roommates of this house. That was on August 16th, the same day, and wearing the same outfit. So interesting. She had a lot to deal with then, if that was her first day moving in there, with the cops coming there and saying, you're going to be held accountable because she was the only one that came out of the house. As we saw in the previous body cam footage, there was noise and the cops are knocking on the door and no one's answering. So here they went around the back and they're like, okay, knocking on the sliding door. And the guy that comes out here is also the same guy that answered the door in that noisy nighttime party that we saw in the last footage as well. Stefan said, a noise complaint at 5 p.m.? I would be scared about the neighbors, right? At 5:30, that's a very early noise complaint, right?
And here he is again with zip ties on his.
The zip ties are interesting. So go check it out. I don't want to play the whole thing yet because go check it out there. Thank you that I could show a little snippet of that as well. Okay, so that is what we have there. And then I don't know. Wait, hold on. I've got so many things pinned here. Oh, I just wanted to bring our attention back to this article here, which was from December 12th. They say the father of one of the 4 murdered University of Idaho students described how the victims had big open gouges on their bodies from the sadistic male who killed them. Now, remember when this article came out on Fox News originally? This is, of course, the New York Post. Then Kaylee's sister Olivia went onto social media to say they really misquoted him. It's not true. The thing is, he cleared it up afterwards, and it seems like the only thing that he corrected was that he said, I wasn't calling the cops cowards. I was referring to the lawyer that stands, between them and the cops. So that means the rest of it seems to still be relevant information from him. And so I'm just reminding us of that again, because I went like Control-Alt-Delete after the family said, no, all of it's misquoted. So I'm like, oh, well, forget about it. But just one more time, the father said the victims had big open gouges on their bodies from the sadistic male who killed them while blasting tight-lipped local police as cowards. So that's now, the cowards part is retracted. Stephen Consalves, whose daughter Kaylee was among the murdered students in Moscow, Idaho, said the coroner, Kathy Mabert, had revealed the chilling details when they spoke. She says, sir, I don't think stabs is the right word. It was like tears. Like this was a strong weapon, not like a stab. Now that is still interesting to me because, everyone's thinking of the K-bar knife and a hunting knife, but it could really be a machete, an axe, a sword, anything else. It could be all sorts of things. I mean, tears, of course, with a hunting knife, you can do that too, but wow. She said these were big open gouges. She said it was quick. These weren't something where you're going to be able to call 911. They were not going to slowly bleed out, the grieving father continued. He also described how his beloved daughter's liver and lungs were slashed. Kaylee, 21, was killed along with Madison Mogan, 21, Xana Kernodle, 20, and Ethan Chapin, 20, in the early hours of November 13th. The elder Gonsalves said while his daughter was in bed with Mogan in the off-campus home when they were both killed, their injuries were not even close to matching. And initially, we thought that Kaylee had already moved out of the house, but she'd actually already moved out of the sorority, from what I now understand. Ah, you moved out of the sorority and into the house. Okay. But she had a bed there. She had a room, and we know which room it is because we've looked at all of that before. T-Rex says, power caller? What kind of crazy reframing is that? Power caller. Calling a lot, yeah. So in another article, Kaylee's dad said, well, there was no blood found on Kaylee's bed, and that's also how they know the whole attack happened in Maddie's room. Yes. Okay. So Canodal, who was in bed on another floor of the house with her boyfriend, Chapin, when they died, had defensive wounds and went through a hell of a battle to try to survive, the coroner apparently told Consalves, which also matches what Xana's dad said. But a hell of a battle is stronger language, of course, than what we've heard before. Police have yet to name a suspect or even release a profile of the killer, but have revealed the victims were stabbed to death. They've also said the attack was targeted, but only loosely defined what they meant by that. I mean, again, as we see, even from the aerial view and just everything, of course, it's targeted. I mean, damn, of all the houses and all the students, 26,000 people living in Moscow, Idaho, 50% students, and they chose that house and those people to attack. So it seems like targeted would be the right word. The dad continued to blast the police in his interview with Fox, saying they need to release more information to the public. I got outraged by them not just coming out and saying this was a woman or a man, because they should know by the amount of strength it took to deliver the injuries. They're just being cowards, so that part was retracted. Okay. Okay, so. Right, so what I wanted to show you then was, wait for it, it's here. This one is an example. Firstly, let's do this one. I'm just going to show you this, not to make anyone panic or feel scared, but it is still possible that it could be a female. I think it's more likely that it's a male, but it could be. Look at this story. This is not related. This was December 7th, 2022. Well, from what we know, it's not related. Indiana woman who killed 2 people during home invasion and stabbing, admittedly inspired by serial killers, takes a plea deal. So I'm just showing you that this lady, I mean, if you look at her, you're like, you're not thinking that this woman is like, oh yeah, I'm so inspired by serial killers, I'm going to go into houses and stab people. Like, what? An Indiana murderess. Oh man, that word sounds too nice for someone like that. Murderess, who was admittedly inspired by serial killers as she embarked upon an uncanny and fatal stabbing spree in May of 2020, reached a plea deal, so unrelated to the case we're discussing today, reached a plea deal with Indianapolis prosecutors on Tuesday. Kristen Wolf, 30, pleaded guilty to exactly what she was charged with: 2 counts of murder, 1 count of attempted murder, and 1 count of attempted battery by means of a deadly weapon, according to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. In exchange for the plea, the state has apparently agreed to take the death penalty off the table. The defendant accepted a sentence of 100 years in prison and will be sentenced in January of 2023. So here they say on the night of May 11, 2020, the victims were attacked by a woman that none of them had ever met before. See, that's important in this case. As much as I don't like to say, I can just see it being said on social media, plot twist. There probably will be a plot twist. This is not a story. It's not a movie. It's real life, real victims. So I don't like the word plot twist, really, but I understand what people mean with plot twist, meaning this could really be somebody that neither of them had met before. That is still possible. The knife attack was brutal and almost immediately resulted in the death of 24-year-old resident Victoria Cook, who was ambushed as she answered a knock at her front door. Another woman was stabbed in the neck but survived the onslaught from the roughly 300-pound figure dressed all in black. As the attack progressed, 28-year-old Dylan Dickover tried to intervene by grabbing Wolf from behind, but the defendant countered, first by stabbing him over the shoulder and then by stabbing him through the leg, hitting a major artery. Dickover bled out and later succumbed to his wounds at a nearby Eskenazi hospital. Another friend of the slain was upstairs when the violence began. He told police he rushed downstairs when he heard commotion and saw a woman with strawberry blonde hair stabbing people. He then went back upstairs to procure a weapon from the woman who lived there, but by the time he got back to confront Wolf, she had already fled. That man tried to stop his friends bleeding as he dialed for help. The surviving victim described the attacker as having worn some sort of work uniform, But investigators on the scene were aided by an even better and ultimately key piece of evidence, the killer's hat. They always make dumb mistakes, these killers, so I really hope that this one did too in the Idaho case and that they will find the killer. During the incident, a cap fell off bearing a telltale patch, the insignia of the Indiana Department of Corrections. Inside was a written name, Wolf. Investigators quickly discovered that there was a woman named Kristen Wolf who worked for the IDC. Her information on file matched the description of the assailant given to police by the witnesses. The killer was arrested at her job, the Madison Correctional Facility, which has 600 beds for women detained under minimum security. So, isn't this kind of shocking? I'm just saying the possibility exists it could be someone like this. This woman did a few things, During a search of Wolf's home, investigators found multiple combat-style knives, several additional pieces of clothing that had the same IDC patch as the hat left at the crime scene, and a series of documents in which she expressed a curiosity and a desire to kill. Those nightstand writings wondered about the feeling of inflicting death, and where the defendant said she took inspiration from serial killers. She wrote that she considered killing her boyfriend or his wife. Wow. That sentence in itself. It's like, wow. I considered killing my boyfriend or his wife. Okay. But that she settled on rather killing someone she didn't know. She also made her peace with the idea that she might die during the attack, but clarifying that she really didn't want to die. Can you believe it? Maybe the killer was already in Kaylee's room and thought she would come in, but instead she fell asleep in Maddie's room. Could be that as well. Could be. Possible. And then I wanted to just show you this other one quickly. Just hold on one second. Just want to see what's going on here quickly. Okay. All right. 1 second. Let's just put this one on here. This one, I know people are now re-looking at the incel angle. We've looked at that early on as well, right? So we can re-look at it because this is an example of one of those. Just give me 1 second. Self-proclaimed incel, involuntary celibate, if you didn't know. And it's a whole group who think the same. They're very angry that they're not, I don't know, having sex with all the hot people, all the hot girls, big egos, but also fractured egos, I would say. And they call, for example, the types of people they target, Stacys and Chads. And that would be, the jocks and the cheerleaders type thing. And if you think of the Idaho case, yeah, I mean, if it is an incel who's been, they also get quite proud. It's like the group, if they were to post online, oh, guess what I did? And I killed these people and I did that. There's a whole thing brewing online for quite some time already. I mean, like over a decade or more, right? Definitely an uptick in recent years. But the thing is, if it was an incel, I mean, if they went into the house, yeah, if you're going to, why attack Ethan and Xana? Well, they're a couple in one bed. He would be what they would call a Chad. And why the girls, especially the blonde girls upstairs, I'm just saying, ooh, they're going to attack those ones. And then, okay, this Ethan and Xana, like maybe just feeling really angry about the couple being in bed, you're not too sure. Okay. So for a moment, I just want to quickly address, because I see there's a whole bunch of comments that you guys are keeping my moderators busy today. When I show body cam footage, anything pertinent to the case from any channel, okay, I'm very interested in the footage. So I really hate it when people judge me by what I'm showing. So please don't do that, because I am unconditional to you. I'm not like, oh my word, I saw you in the live chat of this other creator and therefore you will be blocked. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Please don't do that. We're looking at the case. The body cam footage is very important. And that's why I showed it. So thank you so much. And also no shade. I'm not here to bash other creators, throw shade or anything. But again, thank you for all your emails and everything. I appreciate it. Okay, so self-proclaimed incel 22 pleads guilty, and 22, huh? He pleads guilty to hoarding weapons and plotting to murder 3,000 women. This is not like, whoa, plotting to murder 3,000 women, including sorority girls at Ohio College. 3,000. So if you think of a mind like this, plotting to kill 3,000 women, And this is a quadruple homicide. Well, damn. That 4 out of 3,000 to them wouldn't mean all that much, would it? You know? Kate says, after watching your video, I think I have a new idea for a motive for this creepy killer. Think about how Kaylee and Maddie were so close. They loved each other, same as Ethan and Xana. All 4. Yep. Someone would be likely an incel. Yeah, someone who is an incel would, if you just look at that angle for a second, they'd be very angry at those 2 in the bed and 2 in the bed, especially if they're watching the house, right? Thank you, Sizzle Silver. People are so quick to judge. My goodness. You're free to go if you're going to judge me on a whim. Thank you, Bonnie. But you are welcome here. I hope you all just chill. Focus on the case, okay? Now, a 22-year-old involuntary celibate, look at this guy, who plotted to kill a woman at an unnamed Ohio university, has pleaded guilty to a federal charge of attempting a hate crime. Tres Jenko of Hilliard, Ohio, entered the plea Tuesday in the U.S. District Court in Cincinnati. He faces up to life in prison because he threatened to kill people, a U.S. Department of Justice spokesperson said. Jenko identified, see, that's the thing. Incels identify as incels. It's like a whole, they feel proud of it. He identified as an involuntary celibate or incel and interacted with an online community of mostly men. See, there's all of those. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's pretty scary. Interacted with an online community of mostly men who advocate for violence against women because they believe that they are unjustly denied sexual or romantic attention, authorities said. Actually, the very first person I ever blocked on my channel was an incel. Proudly so, said it in every stream, and that's when I had 18 people in the chat. And yeah, he was just going on and attacking me, and I'm like, my goodness, I think I'm going to have to block. Yes, John Dunn, involuntary celibate. Jenko, as we can see here, he conducted surveillance at an Ohio university in January 2020 and then wrote a document that month titled Isolated, that he described as the writings of the deluded and homicidal. Wow, how very philosophical of the incel. Thank you, everyone. According to prosecutors, he signed it, your hopeful friend and murderer. Look, this sounds like it's going to belong on my other channel, GNT, because I'm feeling the snark coming on. Like, seriously, bro. Makes me so angry. Okay, police searched Jenko's home in March 2020 and found a firearm with an attached bump stock, a device that allows to be rapidly fired, a pistol loaded with ammunition, magazines, boxes of ammunition, and body armor. He was charged in July of 2021. His manifesto points to a 2014 shooting committed by a self-identified incel named Elliot Roger. And there's a lot of mass shooters, if you guys didn't know, they identify as incels. They make each other proud. Who killed 6 people and injured 14 others outside a sorority house at the University of California, Santa Barbara, before killing himself. The manifesto is titled A Hideous Symphony, a manifesto written by Tres Jenko, the socially exiled incel. I will slaughter. Now, this is again, okay, so it might get a little graphic for some, but I'm going to read what he wrote, okay? As you know, it's true crime. We're all here, right? You good? Yeah, I'll go. A manifesto. I will slaughter out of jealousy, hatred, and revenge. So yeah, if you think of motive, if this is someone who didn't know the girls, but maybe watched them online or something, or watched the house, if it could be all of those combinations, right? Like a peeping Tom who started peeping first online and all of that. But the motive, damn, jealousy, hatred, and revenge. Okay, so he said, I will slaughter out of jealousy, hatred, and revenge. I will take away the power of life that they withhold from me. By showing there is more than just happiness and fulfillment, there is all-encompassing death, the great equalizer that will bear all of us into its seductively calm velvet of silence and serenity. His manifesto read. Yes, again, his manifesto. So you can see that someone belonging to these incel groups, wow, they would write their little manifesto and then be so proud of their entitlement. Like, how dare these women have rights? How dare they not want to have sex with me? They will not. I will take, he says, I will take away the power of life that they withhold from me. See, withholding. By showing that there's more than just happiness and fulfillment. And as we could see, in Idaho 4, by all accounts, all 4 victims were happy and fulfilled. and really getting excited for the next chapter, for the new year ahead, of course, for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, 2023. Kaylee had great plans. I'm not too sure what the plans of the others were. I'm sure Ethan was still going to continue studying, maybe Xana as well. I'm not sure when Maddie was set to graduate either, but damn. Thank you, Linz. That's so sweet. I watch a few content creators and see nothing other than love for you. You just have the best reputation. Thank you. Okay. So, Jenko allegedly wrote a note singling out an unnamed Ohio college and writing the date that he intended to carry out his plot as May 23rd, 2020. The gun he planned on using as an M16 and even his desired kill count needs to be huge. Yes, and like you know what? Needs to be huge. 3,000. Aim big then. Investigators allege that Jenko began his killing spree in January 2019 after purchasing a cache of items. Tactical gloves. Remember in the beginning? They were FBI profilers that said, former FBI profilers that said on other shows that this person could wear tactical gloves. And I'm like, well, here as well. This manifesto was he went to buy tactical gloves, a bulletproof vest, a Bowie knife, 2 Glock 17 magazines, a 9mm Glock 17 clip, and a holster clip concealed carry for a Glock. In March of 2020, he searched for police scanner codes for Columbus and campus police at Ohio State University. I'm showing you this in case the killer is someone like this, then we can learn how this person thinks. When he was taken into custody, police found a gun with a bump stock attached, body armor, and boxes of ammunition in his car. They also found a Glock-style 9mm semi-automatic pistol hidden in a heating vent in his home. One post on the Incel forum from July 2019, Jenko allegedly described shooting a group of women with a water gun full of orange juice and likened it to Rogers' mass shooting. I put some orange juice in a water gun. I was planning to spray some voids and couples like E.R. Rogers did. When I finally did do it, it was E.R.'s birthday, and I didn't even know that. Now see, the Amityville Horror, November 13th, 1974. Idaho murders. I'm not saying it's linked. I'm just saying you just don't know what someone with this type of mentality is inspired by. Charles Manson, born November 12th. You know, just things like that. You just don't know. You know, also, what did someone say about November? This happened November? Wait for it. November 13th, 2022. So it happened the month 11 of 2022 at the house address 1122, 1122 King Road. That's interesting too to consider, right? Okay, so he was very proud of himself for putting orange juice in a water gun. I felt like I spiritually connected to the saint on that day. I drove up to them saying, hi, and they didn't even look up. They just went, uh-huh. So they get sprayed in the effing face. You see that attitude there? I suggested to all incels extremely empowering action. In April 2018, a 25-year-old self-identified incel named Alec Manassian drove a rented van into a crowd of mostly women in downtown Toronto, killing 10 people and injuring 14. So yeah, that's a scary mindset, and it's a whole group of online forums and all sorts of things. You think 4chan is like, you should see all that, right? JB Gunner says, I've drank 12 beers. Maybe this number 12 does mean something. Well, we're talking about 11/22, right? And 11, the month 22. I don't know. I didn't read too much into that. But with someone with this type of thinking, I mean, even if they were at the corner club, if it was that, maybe they were also where Xana and Ethan were and they just absolutely hated the sight of a happy couple. You don't know. Could be either, right? But you see, with that person, all it took was, like, hey, how are you? And they're like, you know, and then that's enough to set them off. So yes, are you enjoying your Christmas Eve conversations? True Crime 365. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you was this from NewsNation here. I quite like this reporter. It's very good. Here we go.
We're taking the final steps and walking the distance that Kaylee Gonsalves and Maddie Mogan took during those final college students at the University of Idaho. They went this way because we know eventually they're going to be at a food truck that's about half a mile down this way. It only takes about 5 to 7 minutes to actually walk. And so that's really our point right now, to show that exact path and that exact distance that they traveled together when they were in that group. One of the next things that we see is video from this surveillance camera that you can see right here. This is at the new St. Andrew College.
So he's actually walking. Remember how we did the map time and we did the simulated time with Mr. Grizzly. Again, thank you to him for filming that for us. I hope you didn't miss that. And yeah, now he's actually walking the path from the corner club to where the food truck was parked.
When you look inside, it's an actual music conservatory, and they actually handed over the video surveillance of Maddie, of Kaylee, and of an unidentified third person. It all came from that video camera right there. And that's when you can hear Kaylee express to Maddie some sense of curiosity, something that she said about a person that we've now identified as Adam. Now, the family, the lawyer for Kaylee Gonsalves, said they think they know who that Adam person is, but they don't believe he's connected to the case. Take a look. After being caught.
So anyone who missed that and you were confused about who Adam is, it's from that surveillance footage. He just showed us exactly where the camera is as well, and saying, Maddie, what did you say to Adam? I told Adam everything. That's what I hear. I know people hear all sorts of things. But that is from walking from the corner club to the food truck, and that camera he just showed us now. So, and Adam is the bartender, friend of Jack D, the ex-boyfriend of Kaylee.
On that surveillance camera, they continued to walk this way. This is Main Street, the main thoroughfare through the University of Idaho campus, only a few blocks that way, and the main thoroughfare through Moscow, Idaho. It's only about another quarter of a mile or so until we get to the location where that food truck normally stands, but you'll see it's not there tonight. We're about a half mile down Main Street now from that last surveillance camera. This is one of the very final locations where Maddie and Kaylee were last seen, the food truck. Now, you might be surprised. This is not some food truck park where there are normal places, many places to stop, to sit and eat. No, in fact, this is just normal Main Street, Moscow, Idaho. In fact, the food truck that they were last seen is typically parked right here on the side of the road. It's here.
We've looked at previous episodes exactly when the food truck is open and the hours and everything. So check that out if you missed it. But yeah, it's walking to right where that food truck would normally be parked.
Here most weekends, in fact, trying to capture as many University of Idaho students visiting these downtown bars and these restaurants, trying to capture as many customers as possible. But as you can see, it's not here tonight and often isn't here many of the days, in fact. But right now, this is what we do know. This is one of the very last places that Maddie and Kaylee were seen. Shortly after that video was taken and turned over to the police, they got into their own rideshare, climbing off the street, jumping in their rideshare car, and heading home.
Yep. Okay. I can see there's a lot of background music there, so hope the clip will survive on my channel here. Right?
Now in the back of the ride share, we now know that Kaylee and Maddie headed home from that food truck. It's really not all that far of a drive, 3 to 5 minutes, in fact. The ride presumably traveled through Moscow, Idaho, touching parts of the University of Idaho campus, passing by some of the fraternities and the sororities where we know the 2 other victims were last seen as well. Overall, we can trace back the steps of these 2 young women from Corner Club to the surveillance camera where they were caught on camera with 1 other person, all the way to the food trucks where they were also caught on camera before getting in that ride share and heading home. It's important to note as well that the rideshare driver that took them home that night has also been ruled out as a possible suspect or persons of interest. This is what we know investigators are doing at this point, combing through tips, thousands of them, gathering as much digital surveillance, video surveillance as possible, and trying to trace back these last hours of their young lives.
Okay, so I wanted to show you that as well. And then I mustn't forget to show you that Christmas card, which is so lovely. Just hold on 1 second. Before I do, there was still, where's that thing? Oh yeah, here. This, where they say, family of Xana establishes memorial endowment in her honor. The Kernodle family will be matching dollar-to-dollar donations up to $10,000 to fund scholarships for U of I students. Angela said, "You're going to have 100K for Christmas." Am I? Thank you. So this is wonderful, right? Moscow, Idaho, the family of Xana Kernodle, let me make it a little bit bigger for you, has started a memorial endowment with the University of Idaho to fund scholarships for U of I students. According to a Facebook post, the Kernodle family will be matching dollar-to-dollar donations up to $10,000. Anyone willing to donate any amount they are comfortable with. They can contact the U of I Foundation at 208-885-4000 to provide info over the phone. In addition, checks can be made out to the University of Idaho Foundation and mailed to the address 875 Perimeter Drive. And there's all those details. I'll link this below with timestamps. Those donating should make sure to include EE854 Xana Kernodle Scholarship Endowment in the memo line of the check. We sincerely thank you in advance from the bottom of our hearts, Sheldon Kernodle said in a Facebook post. At the very least, we hope to create some good out of such a terrible and heartbreaking situation. Man, I'm always so amazed when families, make something good out of such a terrible situation. It's amazing, the strength that they have. I encourage everyone to share this post and spread the message as far as possible. So do go find the post and spread it as well. And I said, as I say, in the timestamps that I do for you guys afterwards and the chapters that I make for you, I will put the link there. Throughout the last month, the police have received more than 2,770 calls to the MPD tip line, and this all we know, and the tip line and everything where you can contact if you have any tips related to this case. I will put that all it is already in the description box for you. Thank you, Big Dog, for being here with us. Okay. For anyone asking for numbers for suicide prevention, it depends on the country. But if you just type it into Google, it should be there as well. It's different. I'm in the Netherlands, so it's different everywhere, right? But thank you for being here with us. I'm sorry if anyone is experiencing depression during this time. I understand. And I thank you for... I don't really know what to say. It's really hard, but thank you for being here with us, and I hope you're okay, and I hope you will call a helpline. Okay. Wow, Ozzy says, is the killer in chat? Well, criminal profiler John Kelly was saying that we might think that they're sitting there like excited, right, from all like watching the case unfold. I'm sure they're watching everything, but they might also be experiencing a lot of paranoia and fear, right? Okay, I'm just going to double check that I've shown you everything. There's just still the Christmas card I want to show you. So just hold on one second. That one of our own made for us. This one. It's so cute. This is from one of the Grizzlies, Van LeChimp. Have a Grizzly and true Christmas. Oh, my word. How cute is that, Santa? Oh, my word, Grizzly True Crime. Thank you so much, Van LeChimp. Perp, if you're in chat, subscribe. Van LeChimp. Thank you for making this for us. It's really, really sweet. I will put it on my community tab as well so that you guys can see it there again. But isn't this so sweet? This is for all of you guys. Really appreciate that. Yeah, yay. Grizzlies going the extra mile to make Christmas extra special for all of you. I mean, there's 5,669 people here. Thank you for being here. I hope that you're having a wonderful Christmas Eve wherever you are. I'm probably going to watch a Christmas movie after this. Okay, I just want to quickly double check that I've shown you everything before I go. So just hold on one second, because you know how it goes. I pinned so many things for you. The one thing I still wanted to check. Oh yeah. Maptime. Hello, Maptime. Just quickly here. I just wanted to show you how close, in case you didn't know, how close all the sororities are. Because I know we've all focused, of course, on the Sigma Chi fraternity. Sigma Chi fraternity. And if you look here, the Pi Beta Phi or Phi one is right here. And where's the other one? They're all within proximity. There's the Alpha. Someone in chat said it's Phi. So Alpha Phi or Phi is right there. The Pi Beta one. So Maddie and Xana went to this one. This was their sorority house. And then Kaylee was at this one. And Ethan Chapin was at this one. And the unharmed roommates, they were also in the Pi Beta Phi 1. Yes? But you can see it's all like super close as it would be. It's right there by campus. But I just know we've never looked at this on the map like this before. So everyone's focusing on this one of like, what happened there? And could there have been a fight because of the incident on the field here? And what happened? Did Ethan and Xana leave there? Were they from 8 to 9, as law enforcement says? We're not sure. But Kaylee initially told her family that she wanted to go back to Moscow, Idaho to show off her car and to attend a party at this Pi Beta house. Pi Beta Phi B house on Friday night. So there's also a party that took place there on Friday night, and we have no idea where they went, what they did, if there's footage of that or anything. So there's the Alpha one, there's the Pi Beta Phi one, there's this one as well, and there's a whole bunch of other sororities and fraternities all around campus here to consider. Thank you so much, John C. All right, so I think I've pretty much shown you everything. Just hold on one second. Pretty much, yes. Last thing would be if you go to Twitter, and if you want to follow me there, it's at Grizzly Gisela is my handle on there. Grizzly True Crime was not available. And if you go to latest, Idaho Homicides latest, I wasn't followed. Idaho Ride Sharer comes forward, so that we've seen. Oh, Idaho Murders, police body cam footage AV synced. Very nice. So I'm just looking at what the latest was, just to see if there's anything that we missed. Oh, there's not too much that we're missing here. Oh, adverts. So you see here they're saying, is it true that Kaylee moved in August 2022? It will make sense to me, moving out of the sorority, right? Okay, there's nothing much here, so there's nothing that we've missed. Thank you for being here. Let's just quickly have a look. Nancy says some tall buildings don't have a floor 13. Airplanes do not have row 13, and most hotels do not have floor 13. Did you guys know that? Interesting, right? I can't believe that hotels and airplanes like cater for superstition. Okay, so I just quickly want to check something. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, yeah, you guys. let me show you quickly. I just want to show you something that everyone's very excited about, of course. We're not quite there yet, but let me show you this. Here is where Grizzly True Crime is right now. Thank you so much to 99,886 people who have subscribed to my channel. If you're a lurker, which means you just watch and you don't subscribe to anyone. I mean, Mr. Grizzly is actually one of those. He's like, I don't subscribe to anyone. I'm like, you better subscribe to me. That was months ago, right? If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's free. And thank you so much, you guys, for pretty much getting me there for Christmas. That is amazing. Van LeChimp. This guy right here, who's also in Europe, okay, with me. Not quite, just neighbor. Challenged me to reach 100K by the end of the year. And I'm like, no, man, I don't know about that. What? And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe we could do that. It's all about belief, right? And you Grizzlies are amazing. So thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, who is here. I really appreciate it so much. Look at you guys go. I appreciate you guys so much. I mean, to 100K and beyond. I know it's just a number, but to me, it represents 100,000 Grizzlies together. And we are, everybody knows, you guys, if you talk to other content creators, when we like, listen, guys, listen, go over there. We all go raid. We do the Grizzly raid. We use all our little bear emojis and everything. Wow, look at you guys go. Then they know, wow, the Grizzlies are a passionate bunch. They're fierce. I mean, we were also once on WFLA. All the Grizzlies were there and we saw each other and we're like, hey, everyone. All the bear emojis just went and they're like, oh my word, it's a bot. There's a bear bot in here, but it was all of us. And I just love how passionate you guys are, how, you know, just fierce, determined, and just wonderful. A lot of empaths in the house as well. And just wonderful people. So I'm so proud of all of you for being here. And, you know, you make it possible for me to do this full time, which I really appreciate as well. Before this, I was writing books full time. And before that, many other things, which I've spoken about before. So Sarah Adams like, go. Whoa, this is a little bit scary, actually, huh? Also, I wanted to just say quickly that for all the patrons, let me make it like this. Okay. If you're on Patreon, I did tell you that we're going to do a stream soon. We are on Monday, which will be Boxing Day, right? On the 26th. I'm going to be doing a stream talking about the Idaho case and maybe even some other cases with Mr. Grizzly. So he's not going to show his face, but you will hear his voice like you do on his channel. And then you're going to get some behind the scenes stuff of just, it's for members and patrons, by the way. All YouTube members, all patrons, okay? That will be Monday. So just keep an eye on the community tab and keep an eye on your inbox as well. This is very exciting. So thank you so much, everyone. the 100K waffle. I don't know. You're in green, Sarah. Yes. So I really appreciate everyone who supports the channel. And man, above all, the mods. Thank you so much to the Grizzly mod squad. As you guys know, half the time, I'm so busy with presentations and just everything we do over here. The chat sometimes it can get really wild sometimes. And the mods do such a phenomenal job, even afterwards in the comments section and everything, just keeping the community a safe place to talk, happy, nothing too graphic, no one bashing anyone, not attacking anyone, all of that. So thank you so much. You're like, stay till 100K. What I'd like to do, okay, is just play my tribute one more time, if that's okay. So just please keep in mind the families of these victims over Christmas. I cannot imagine what they're going through. I mean, Thanksgiving was hard enough to imagine. Christmas is unbearable to think about. So please think of them, send them lots of love, lots of encouragement. Law enforcement as well, to those that are working over this time. That's hard as well. So, don't be hard on them. Don't be ugly to them, right? Thank you so much. Yes, I will show you that again now. I just quickly want to play this one more time. Oh, man. So please send lots of love to the families. Merry Christmas to everyone. Even if you don't celebrate it, I hope that you're having a good winter season or holiday season. Here you go. Here's the numbers that you guys want to see again. Thank you. For me, you know what this means to me? Is that you guys gave me a voice, where I'm just like, I'm naturally an introvert. Some people don't believe me, but they're like, no, you don't see, I'm shy. I'm an introvert. Thank you. Someone's like, that's it. I'm going to unsubscribe. So just to be able to be and overcome a tremendous amount of anxiety and just be able to share my thoughts with you in my presentations, because I'm a bit of a nerd too, is just so, so special. So thank you so, so much, everyone. I'm sure we'll reach it today. I don't know if we're going to reach it right now. It's okay. It doesn't matter. I'm so proud of you guys and so proud of this community. And again, you know, what I really want to show is tolerance and unconditional love. And I mean, as you saw earlier, Gray Hughes investigates, who some people are like, he's so mean, right? He was here supporting this milestone as well, which was just amazing to see. So thank you, Grizzlies. I'm so proud of you. And oftentimes I see you guys in other chats. And I'm always so proud of you, of like how you are, how you talk. Just, you know, thank you. We've got 7 to go. At 7, if we got 6 to go, I'm going to be so overwhelmed. I'm probably going to be shy and go. Thank you to everyone who supported the channel today through super stickers. As I hope you saw my scroll bar. It's very disruptive if I the whole time say stickers, right? I understand. But thank you so, so much. You guys are like, 100K today. We've got 5 more. We'll wait for it for a second. Laura says, Laura, an incel unsubscribed. Thank you, Miss Dewey. And some of you, you know, I recognize your names and faces from the beginning days, OG days. Well, thank you so much. Man, I started the channel at the end of June 2021. Oh, my word. Look at that number. There it is. Damn. Okay, that's it. I'm speechless. Thank you, everyone. Let's try to say this. Fröhliche Weihnachten aus Berlin. Thank you. Grizzly Nation, exactly. And Grizzly like the bear. Just in case people don't know. Grizzly Nation. Thank you so much. Thank you, mods, patrons, members, viewers, subscribers, supporters, and everyone. Jill, you guys are like, what? Thank you. Yeah. So now is when you'll see the introvert. I'll get shy now. I'm going to go. Thank you, Matthew. Like unsub and sub. Very nice. Subbed again. Why weren't you sub? Thank you. Okay, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Reaching this milestone with me. One always thinks you're not going to know what to say. I don't know what to say. I'm just grateful. And let's continue to grow, shall we? Let's continue to grow a wonderful community of passionate people who love to talk about true crime. A lot of you are here because you want to figure things out. You want to understand the psychology of true crime and all that. Me too. Me too. So thank you. I find it's a unique community, even though we overlap with many creators. And I'm so proud of them too. So thank you so much. You guys, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to probably go tell Mr. Grizzly now. I don't know if he's still live. His channel is called Sakura Aviation if you want to check it out. But otherwise, you'll hear his voice on a stream on Monday. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much, mods. Today was a very hectic chat. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.